What's going on, everybody? So I decided to make a video discussing a topic that oftentimes has a lot of questions and uncertainties associated with it. That topic is dieting, and more specifically dieting to lose weight and reduce body fat. So I'm going to give you guys some of my views and insight on that and what I've learned over the years through my process of trial and error as a bodybuilder. I've had a lot of inquiries in the past asking about how I structure my diet, what my meal plan is like, and all that stuff. So I'm going to detail that in this video and try to make it as clear and concise as possible. So I'm sure a lot of you have heard of If It Fits Your Macros or flexible dieting. It's kind of the new generation approach to dieting, and in my experience I found it to be the most optimal approach, which elicits the healthiest and most sustainable lifestyle, which is what I think is most important and what we should all strive for. So what I basically do is I aim for a targeted amount of protein, carbs, fat, and fiber each day that coincide with my individual body weight and metabolic rate. So of course you wouldn't want to abide by the same macronutrient intake as me, unless you have a very similar body weight and metabolism. And obviously there's different routes you could take to losing weight. I've tried the typical set meal plan approach in the past, which basically limits you to certain foods each day, and those foods usually consist of chicken breast, fish, broccoli, brown rice, oatmeal. You get the picture. It becomes very monotonous. But there's no need to be a slave to set meal plans. I think your overall calorie and macronutrient intake at the end of each day is what is most important. And one thing that flexible dieting does is it allows you to have a healthier relationship with food, and it makes you less inclined to divert from your diet. If you're tracking your calories each day, it makes it a lot easier to make adjustments based on how your body is responding. And there's apps now like MyFitnessPal and FitDay, which make it very simple and easy to track your calories. Basically just type in the food and it gives you the caloric breakdown. And there's a lot of erroneous conceptions surrounding flexible dieting. A lot of people think it's just an excuse to eat a bunch of crappy foods as long as it fits your macros. But that's not the case. Especially if you're on a restricted calorie diet. If you're consuming a sufficient amount of fiber each day, that's going to limit the amount of empty calorie foods that you'll be able to consume. So I'd probably aim for like 30 to 50 grams of fiber per day, depending on your body weight. If you're heavier, you want to use the higher end of that range. If you're lighter, you want to use the lower end of that range. And also, if you're following an appropriate macronutrient breakdown to optimize body composition, you're not going to be able to eat pizza and Pop-Tarts for every meal every day and hit your macronutrient goals. But if on occasion you do want something outside of the norm, which may be higher in calories or considered a dirty food, as long as you account for it and fit it into your macros, it's not going to be a problem. So, of course, when dieting, the most important thing is you have to be in a caloric deficit. You have to be expending more calories than you're taking in. And first, you're going to want to find your maintenance calories, the amount of calories you will need to maintain your current weight. And there's a pretty simple equation that has worked well for me in the past, and I think others have used it as well with success, which will give most people a pretty good estimation of your maintenance calories. And you basically just take your body weight and multiply it by 14 to 16. So either 14, 15, or 16. And the value you use is going to be dependent upon your own metabolic rate. So if you have a slower metabolism or if you have more endomorph qualities, I'd probably multiply it by 14. If you have a really fast metabolism or more ectomorph qualities, I'd probably multiply it by 16. And if you're somewhere in between, I'd multiply it by 15. So you just want to use good judgment on that one, guys. To get an exact amount of calories for maintenance, you'd have to do some trial and error. But that should give most people a pretty close estimation. And obviously, if you're dieting and you want to lose weight, you're going to need to be in a caloric deficit. So you're going to want to deduct calories from that. And it's important, guys, not to reduce your calories too far below maintenance. Because at some point, most people are going to hit a weight loss plateau, and you're probably going to have to reduce your calories some more to get through that. And if you're like 1,000 calories below maintenance already, don't really have anywhere to go from there, reduce them anymore, you'll basically be starving yourself, and you don't want that. So I'd be really conservative and probably start off with like a few hundred calories below maintenance and make adjustments accordingly. The goal should be to eat as many calories as you can while still losing weight at an efficient rate. I'd probably aim for a weight loss rate of 0.5 to 1% of your body weight per week if you're heavy and have a lot of excess body fat, you can use the higher end of that range. If you're leaner, you want to use the lower end of that range. Now, it's important, guys, give yourself plenty of time, take a slow approach. I've made mistakes in the past of not giving myself quite enough time before competition to diet down, end up having to be too aggressive with my calorie reduction. That just makes things more difficult, creates more problems, especially coming out of the show when you're trying to get your metabolism back on track. So, slow approach to dieting is always best. And next I'm going to talk about the caloric or the macronutrient breakdown or ratio. I'd probably aim for like 1.2 grams of protein per pound of body weight. I think that'll be sufficient. Probably derive about 20 to 25% of my calories from fat, and then the rest I would apportion to carbs. So this is just a pretty simple and basic breakdown. Obviously, it's probably going to be slightly different for each individual, but you're just going to have to monitor your progress and make adjustments accordingly. And I think another thing that's important is refeeds. I think they're essential when dieting. At the start, I'd probably implement like 1 refeed per week, and as you get leaner, you may need to implement 2. And on a refeed, you'd basically just be increasing your carbs 1.5 to 2 times above normal. I'd probably keep everything else constant for the most part. And with the increased carbs, you're probably going to be at about maintenance calories on your refeeds. And the point of a refeed is to boost your metabolism, to restore the leptin levels which reduce during the process of dieting, and to provide some satiety. So I think that's just about all I wanted to cover in this video, guys. Just remember to give yourself a lot of time, take a slow approach. Don't reduce your calories too far below maintenance. There's nothing wrong with variety, guys. Just account for everything you're putting into your body and fit it into your macros, and you'll be on the right track. So if you have any questions or comments, just leave them down below, and I'll talk to you guys next time.